Hello and welcome to Absolute Trust Talk. This is our podcast here at Absolute Trust Counsel, and I'm Kirsten Howe. Ariana Flynn, our associate attorney, is with me here today, and we are going to do one of our favorite types of episodes. We're going to talk about a dead celebrity's estate plan, and we're doing something a little different this time because in this case, it seems as though this particular celebrity did things right. So we're not here to talk about mistakes. We're going to learn some lessons from somebody who did something right. And you're going to be shocked to hear that the celebrity I'm talking about is Ozzy Osbourne. As you all know, I'm sure Ozzy died just recently. He was the founder and lead singer of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. They kind of pioneered that genre. That was not my genre. Ariana, how about you?
Not particularly. No, did hear a couple popular songs, but not too much.
Yeah. But anyway, he was famous for a few things, a lot of things. His band. He was famously heavily involved in alcohol, drugs, you name it. He did some weird things on stage that are legendary. And he also started a reality show with his family, one of the first reality shows that we had. So he did a lot of interesting things throughout his career. And he also recently died. And we're going to talk a little bit about his estate plan. But Ariana, why don't you start by just kind of telling us a little bit about his family and his background?
Yeah, absolutely. So he leaves behind his wife, and I'm assuming these were all a part of the reality show. I actually never got to watch it. I wasn't allowed to watch it because I was so young, and it was that type of show. I guess just based off of what I've heard, every other sentence has a couple cuss words in it. His wife, Sharon, who is now 71, and he also has 6 children. 3 of which are from Sharon, his current wife. So that's Amy, 40, Kelly, who's 39, and Jack, who's 38. So all adults, as well as 3 children from his first marriage to Thelma Riley. That is Lewis, who's 49, Jessica is 51, and an Elliot, who's 47. So all pretty old. We're not dealing with any minors here. Asset-wise, he leaves around $230 million in his estate, give or take a few million, if you will. Which consists of royalties from his music, obviously his TV show, real property, so houses, his mansion. I believe he has a hotel as well. He owned a hotel, cash and other cash equivalent assets as well.
Okay. Well, and do we know anything about his estate plan?
We don't, it's all just based off of what we hear in the gossip columns, speculation right after somebody passes away. But that is a good thing when you hear, so this person's estate does not have to be probated. That means they have consisted of some sort of trust or estate plan that they can avoid probate. So everything that we're saying, it's speculating that he does have a valid trust that is going to pass absent probate. But everything that we've kind of picked up is just from the news and the gossip columns, so to say.
Right. And so the other thing that leaps to my mind when you say, well, basically no news is good news. There's nobody seems to have just run to the courthouse to file some kind of litigation. And we certainly have seen that with celebrities in the past where right out of the gate, somebody's unhappy, somebody's making claims. And, when there's this kind of money at stake, that's something that we see. And so it's a good sign that that's not happening in that family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So let's talk about what you think that has been happening that they did right here.
Definitely. So I think a good thing that they've done, number one, kept it out of the public here, so keeping it relatively private for the most part. It is still a little early. July 22nd is when he passed, and it's only August 5th. But assuming that all is going well, one of the things that they have done correctly is set clear beneficiary designations. the Ozzy Osbourne reportedly, so this is supposedly, is leaving all of his assets to his children. And I guess that's not very common to leave it directly to children. As far as celebrities goes, a lot of the times they let their managers handle it for the children, or dispose also to charities as well. But allegedly, all the assets are going to be distributed to the family and to the children. Also, can't leave out Sharon there as well.
Right. To wife and children. Right.
Right. Which could
Right.
potentially avoid, those legal battles later on when children don't get their inheritance. That could potentially come up as time goes on.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's a lot of money, and a lot of times parents are tempted to have somebody in control, somebody outside of the family, have somebody in control of the inheritances, which sometimes that's important, and there's reason for that. But if there's not reason for that, you reduce the odds of litigation by
Absolutely.
letting people have their money.
And that kind of leads to the next plus as well. It sounds like there is that centralized control with the trust. It sounds like Sharon is, she always kind of played the role of manager. She was always very hands-on with the brand itself. And it sounds like that's going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to be held within the family, kept within the family, protected as far as decision making goes. It sounds like Sharon is going to be that person. So that's another plus, is having that, that person who their children probably trust, and who's been managing the assets so far, to be the one in control as well.
Yeah, and some of the assets in this particular case are the kind of asset that need to be managed, that can be exploited or mismanaged. I'm talking about, name, image, likeness, those kinds of assets that tend to be important to the family, and managing them correctly can really enhance the value of the family's wealth.
Definitely. I would say normal, lay people, day-to-day people don't really worry about it. It's an additional asset, but yeah, your name, your image, your likeness, your brand itself is your, it's a big asset for some individuals, especially if they are famous to the public, and that could be exploited very, very easily if somebody who's in charge is not the right person. So keeping it within that family sounds like it could preserve that image that Ozzy built, not just himself, but his family, his brand, his music, everything too.
Yeah. This is not a problem that our clients have, but but it's fun to talk about it, and it's interesting. Okay, so let's talk about taxes. You said 230 million. That's a lot of money. Here in the U.S., that would be what we would call a taxable estate. You're above our estate tax exemption, which is this year $13.99 million. And what I have read is that Ozzy was both a U.S. citizen and a citizen of the U.K. He was born in the U.K., but he became a citizen of the U.S. He was a dual citizen. And what that means is that he's going to be subject to U.S. estate tax laws and UK estate tax laws. I just told you what I know about U.S. estate tax laws that would apply to him for the most part. The $13.99 million exemption, everything you leave to your spouse is exempt from estate tax in the U.S. And the other thing is that if you are subject to two different jurisdictions, if those jurisdictions have a treaty with each other, there will be some way of getting credits back and forth so that you're not being doubly taxed. So let's talk about what we know about the UK estate tax situation, which is very little.
Yeah, from what little we know, it sounds like there is some sort of estate tax. Anything above I think it's 375,000 is what what it currently is, euros, excuse me. So 375 euros should be taxed at a rate of about 40%. But there are some exemptions, like spouse to spouse is one of the big exemptions. There's an exemption limit for what you transfer to your children, but that's only up to a certain amount. But there is some sort of mechanism for taxing these estates above that relatively small amount, not
Yeah.
gigantic like the US, but it's a smaller amount.
Yeah, 375,000 euro. A
Mhm.
euro today, I looked it up, is $1.16. So that is not a lot of money. All of our clients, for the most part, would be subject to that estate tax of 375,000 plus dollars. But my guess is they've done some planning, and and leaving everything to your spouse really helps a lot to at least defer that tax. Okay, so that's our little roundup of the Ozzy Osbourne estate plan. Congratulations, Ozzy, wherever you are. Apparently you did a good job at least keeping your family out of court so far.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else you want to add, Ariana?
No, I think that was it. That covered it all. And I feel like I'm constantly hearing more of his music now because he has passed away too. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was surprised at how widespread and beloved he was.
Mhm.
And he's somebody who I was aware of, but didn't really follow at all. And every podcast I listened to, in the week or so after his death, they had to talk about it, and they went on and on about how much they loved him. And he was very well liked, apparently, and well known, and people loved his music. Just not me. And that's okay. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. I hope you learned something positive this time. Positive things that you can do in your estate planning. And thank you for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.